Summary of the interpretation of Surah Al-Imran, verse 194. The believers supplicate to their Lord to grant them what He promised His believing servants through the messengers, forgiveness, paradise, and salvation. They ask Him not to disgrace them on the day of resurrection, certain that God never breaks His promise. Summary of the interpretation of Surah Al-Imran, verse 195. God answered the believers' supplication and informed them that He does not waste the deeds of any believing man or woman. All are equal in reward with God. Those who left their homelands, or were expelled from them, and endured harm for the sake of God, and strove, and were killed defending the truth, God will erase their sins and admit them to gardens beneath which rivers flow. This is a great reward from God, and He is the best of those who reward and recompense. Summary of the interpretation of Surah Al-Imran, verse 196. Do not be deceived by the wealth, trade, power, or apparent success of the disbelievers in this world, nor by their travels between countries and the pleasures of life they enjoy. All of this is temporary and fleeting, and is not evidence of God's pleasure with them or their true success. Summary of the interpretation of Surah Al-Imran, verse 197. God clarifies that what the disbelievers possess in this world is nothing but fleeting pleasure that does not last. Therefore, the believer should not be deceived by it or envy it. However long the period of worldly bliss may seem, it is short compared to the hereafter. Then God mentions the true destiny of those who turned away from Him, which is hell, their abode and final destination. This serves as a reminder to the believer to consider the consequences and ultimate ends, not the temporary appearances, and to be assured that God's justice will inevitably prevail. Summary of the interpretation of Surah Al-Imran, verse 198. After Allah clarified the fate of the disbelievers, He mentioned the opposite, the fate of the righteous. For them are the gardens of eternity, which Allah has prepared for them as a sign of His favor. If humans can prepare beautiful places for their guests, what then of what Allah has prepared for His believing servants? Therefore, the believer should not be preoccupied with the worldly possessions of others. For what Allah has prepared for the righteous is better, more lasting, and greater than any fleeting pleasure. Rest assured, for Allah does not waste the reward of the righteous. And what He has is better for those who do good deeds and are sincere to Him.